the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy, who is disrobing. And
yeah, baby. Gotta make room for the turkey, man. Gotta loosen up my pants. Why is it playing again?
Hey, no, he's just like, keep dropping the beats, man. I got a little dance to do for you. Let me undo my belt, buddy. Yeah, let's do some grinding on a pole.
I got to loosen up a little bit. So there's this, when we do our pod here, folks, on the back end, when I'm pressing buttons, which is a bad idea, man. Don't put me in charge of this shit. There's a button on here where it loops the music. It just keeps going and going and going. Yeah. And I apparently clicked on the old looper button here this morning. So, Brad, let's get loopy.
Well, let's hopefully not drive around in circles with our Hong Kong plus bus plays. These are wagers available plus 100 or greater odds at the various sports books. So, Lundy, I'll let you bat lead off. What is enticing you in the bold and disputable category, my man?
Let's go to the Toronto Raptors, shall we? Toronto taking on the Indiana Pacers. Anybody paying attention to the score yesterday? Anybody? Anybody at all?
We're still scoring.
Folks, I tweeted this. I tweeted this out. Brad, the over-under early in the third quarter was at 297.5. That was the live line, and they still hit the over.
That's crazy.
Good God, that was an insane game last night. But let's go to the Raptors, Brad, and let's talk about Scotty Barnes. And I'm actually going to go for a plus odds play here with Mr. Barnes. His points total over under for this evening is at 18.5. I'm actually going to bump that to 20 plus. And I'm going to take it at plus 120 money. Couple of reasons why. One, we just talked about how many points the Pacers gave up, but that's not an isolated incident last night, folks. The Pacers give up more points in the NBA than anybody else. They play at a fast pace, and their defense blows, which is why they keep giving up the points that they are. So Barnes has only gone over the 20 mark in half the games this year. He's been over in 7. He's been under in 7. And in fact, he's been under in the last 3 in a row. But going up against this Pacers team that is on the second night of a back-to-back, given the point total that was given up, all of that crap, I'm going to say screw it on the 18.5 line. Let me bump Barnes up to 20 or more and take that at plus 120. And that's universal, folks, across the board. I saw it at ESPN Bet. I saw it at DK. I saw it at FanDuel. They're all basically sitting at the same number of plus 120.
All right, let's go to a game on Thanksgiving Day, perfectly crafted for Team Huevos. That is the Egg Bowl featuring Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So on this SGP, and come with me, if you are buying what I am selling, give me Ole Miss on the first leg, straight up on the money line. Far superior team, no question about it on paper. I'll explain that here in a moment. Both teams have scored at least 18 points, maybe a bit of adventurous for one of these schools. But I think both these teams are going to pile up the points in some capacity on Thanksgiving Day. And then let's correlate, synergize, and bring it all together. If I think both teams are going to score at least 18, give me the over on the all total of 49.5. I put all three of those legs together, a cool plus 200 at BetMGM. Mississippi State has lost 2 of the last 3 in this rivalry matchup. And a team, as I mentioned, they were on the struggle bus offensively. Number 113 in college football, EPA per play offense. Just number 86 in EPA per play defense. And that is wheelhouse material for a high up-tempo, high-scoring offense that Ole Miss has. They're number 11 in the country in EPA per play offense. Number 51, so middling in EPA per play defense. But I think they're easily going to get the win. Now, the key in this one is Mississippi State. Can they score 18 points? Well, they've done it 4 times this year. Lundy is shaking his head no. They're at home in a rivalry game. Ole Miss can be a little bit leaky, can be a little bit forgiving in the defensive category. So I say, sure, they can get there. Ole Miss definitely is going to get there. They've done it 6 times this season. So roll the dice, clackety-clack, saying the Bulldogs show some bite offensively, and maybe they score in a garbage town. But both, I feel, are going to get 18 or more points. And then finally, the over. Both schools have hit the over on this all total of 49.5 in 8 of 11 games. So, 1, 2, 3, mi amigo, plus 200 at BetMGM. And yes, I'm a giant idiot for backing Mississippi State in any way, shape, or form positively. Just score me 18.
Look, it's a rivalry game, so I'll give that to you. Anything can happen, but you're sitting back. Mississippi State's got an interim coach. It's just I'm not a fan of the 18 or more. The other legs, no issue.
Mississippi State has a lot of issues because I have an esteemed degree from that fine institution.
Oh.
So do it for me, please. I think I still owe you money. I will resend future checks if you don't score at least 18. With that, bet on the board and Lundy's as well. Let's get after it and gobble, gobble, gobble up more action in the Fade 5.
Number 5.
Numero 5 on the Turkey Day edition here, and all of these are going to be featured in the countdown related to the action on the Pro Gridiron. And let's start off in the game that's kicking things off on Thanksgiving, and that is Lions and Packers. And here's a name that you probably didn't expect to hear. Give me the over on Khalif Raymond, 12.5 receiving yards, pretty low number there, against the Packers, minus 110. I pulled that one from Bet ESPN. Why am I on Khalif Raymond? Well, it's very simple. He's hit the over on this with relative ease, really, when he shows up. In 8 of 10 games this season, he's averaging a fairly robust 15 routes per game and 3 targets per game. That's, not a voluminous workload by any stretch of the imagination, but a respectable number 34. And total yak number 17 in yards per target. Now, the first matchup, he finished in the red. He didn't even hit 0. He had 1 catch for minus 2 yards back in week 4 when these two teams tangoed. But Green Bay is a team that is number 23 in EPA pass defense. They've allowed 23 wide receivers to reach at least 13 yards through the air, though they've given up the 5th fewest total wide receiver yards this season. So this could be a single play payday. I think he's going to get 2 catches. If you like that action more than the receiving yards, or maybe both, you can get it at plus money at all the books on the over 1.5 receptions. But Khalif Raymond, over 12.5 receiving yards. That's what I need against Green Bay. Earn that turkey leg, son. Minus 110 at Bet ESPN. Lundy, fade or follow?
I wasn't really expecting to see Khalif Raymond show up on today's podcast. So if you think I did research on this dude, then you've had too many of those energy drinks that you're downing right now. Clearly,
there's tequila in here too. It's great.
That doesn't surprise me, because as soon as your television show ended on Wednesday, I figured you are checked out for the next 4 days in a row. So I'm gonna say sure, just because you think I'm paying attention to Khalif Raymond tomorrow?
You should be. Just go ahead and join me.
No.
Follow me on this, and we'll ride it together. We're bros.
Number 4.
All right, numero 4 here on the Fade 5 countdown. Maybe Lundy will actually tail me on this one because he's heard of this guy. It's a CMC Football Factory, Christian McCaffrey, and he's going to dole out some platinum hits in receiving yards. Give me the over 32.5. Best use of the business in line right now at FanDuel at minus 114. You look at CMC. He has done this repeatedly this year because he's running 20.2 routes per game. He is number 2 among all pass-catching running backs in target percentage at 20.2%. Number 5 in yards per route run, and he's averaging north of this at 37.7 receiving yards per game on 4.3 receptions per game. He's hit the over on this a handful of times, 5 to be exact. And you look at Seattle, they've given up this number 6 times this season, the running back position, allowing 5.2 receptions per game, 43.9 receiving yards per game to the position. So put it all together, Christian McCaffrey hopefully is going to make me some money on the over 32.5 receiving yards, minus 114 at FanDuel. Lundy, definitely a dude you heard of. So, good sir, I ask you, fade or follow?
I didn't say I hadn't heard of Khalif Raymond. He was on the Broncos, for crying out loud. I've heard of him. I just wasn't going to bet on him. That's all.
Until now.
Until now, apparently. Yes, this is an easy one. And in fact, I've got a lot in bonus time, and part of it involves him. So I'm just we'll save that for what's coming up. For all the reasons that Brad said, take the over on this one. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the games on Thanksgiving Day are going to be duds. But if there is a chance for a game to be good, it's going to be the nightcap. And that's why I think San Francisco is going to need to lean on CMC. So take the over here. And like I said, he'll show up again in bonus time.
Gonna make you sweat. Bop, 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 baby. No, I won't.
Number 3.
All right, numero tres here on the Fade of 5 Countdown Thanksgiving Day edition. Let's go with a little SGP action here. And on the simple 2-legger, we don't have to go 7, 8, 9, 10 Calvin Ridley style legs. We're going to keep this nice, tight, compact, and entirely achievable. Leg numero uno, Brandon Cooks, the former Oregon State Beaver. Give me him for 3 or more receptions. And leg numero dos, Logan Thomas. And on the standard line, I'm going to take the over on 36.5 receiving yards. Put this together at ESPN Bet, plus 180 is the juice on that. So, yeah, get seduced by that juice. The juice is certainly going to be flowing for your boy a little bit later on. Actually, I already started breakfast at like 8 a.m. today because it's a holiday. You drink tequila with your Cheerios, and you just let it ride until you pass out about 3 o'clock, take a short nap, you wake up, and you do it again. Anyway, I digress on this SGP. Brandon Cooks, I think he's going to hit this over with relative ease. This could be like a 5-catch kind of game, and all I need is 3 receptions. He's averaging only 4.9 targets per game. Yeah, he's only number 44 in catchable target rate, number 39 in route win percentage. Was getting a lot of Emmanuel Forbes in coverage for Washington, who's given up a 118.2 passer rating and 64.3 catch percentage to his assignments. Washington as well has given up the 8th most wide receiver catches in the NFL this season. 19 guys have caught 3 or more balls. So I think Cooks will make it 20, and so will CeeDee Lamb. They'll just pile on in that category. Meanwhile, leg numero dos here with Logan Thomas. I think he's going to get at least 37 receiving yards. Guy that's really seeing an uptick in volume and workload. He's averaging 5.7 targets per game on the season, number 14 in total yak. Number 22, though, that's it, in yards per reception at 9.5. But he's hit the over on this in 6 of his last 8 games and primarily gets a lot of his action out of the slot. And who mans the slot for the Dallas Cowboys? It's their weakest link in that secondary, and Jordan Lewis, who has given up a 71.4 catch percentage and 136.5 passer rating to his assignments. So Logan Thomas could be sneaky good in this game, and you know that Washington is likely going to be scoreboard chasing as well. So to recap on this SGP, Brandon Cooks, 3 or more catches. Logan Thomas, over 36.5 receiving yards. Slap those two together, plus 180 at ESPN. Lundy, fade or follow.
Are you getting too greedy with Logan?
No, I don't think I am.
Okay.
You know,
I'm with you on Cooks. I'm with you on Cooks. I'm just wondering if you're getting a little greedy with Logan.
No, I debated taking on one of the alt lines, and you could do that if you want to build a little safety first. Take it out to like 33.5, 34.5, build in that little bit of a cushion to avoid any kind of pushing. I get it, but I feel confident on the standard line. Oh, and this just in, Lundy, that standard line is actually climbing. Some of the books, it's already up to 38.5. I think by kickoff, it's going to be right or just above 40.
All right. I mean, it's okay if you want to do that. I personally would back it down. I really would, because plus 180 is a great payday. But if I can back it down and still be at like plus 150, I'm happy. So that's all I'm saying. I'm worried a little bit that you got a little greedy with Logan. I'm good with the Cooks number. And again, I told you some of these guys are going to reappear in bonus time, including Cooks. But Thomas, that's my only concern. I don't hate this, but I'd be willing to go from like plus 180 to plus 150 by backing it down by just a little bit to get myself a little bit of safety net.
Oh, like my deep fried bird, I want it extra juicy. Back me at plus 180.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Hey, it's more SGP. Hey, it's more plus money action. Let's go to the Cowboys game once again against the Commanders. And on this, a three-legger, and it's all relatable. Give me Dallas -6.5. Leg numero dos. Give me Dak Prescott to deliver at least 2 or more passing touchdowns. And then finally, leg numero tres, Dak Prescott, 225 plus pass yards. I built this at DraftKings, +116 on that action. You look at Washington. They're giving up 272.6 pass yards per game to opposing signal callers and 2.2 airstrikes per game. So both those thresholds just meets the averages, and he cruises past what is needed. They're number 30 overall, or the Commanders, in pass EPA defense. They've allowed 8 quarterbacks to hit 225 plus pass yards and 2+ passing touchdowns in the same game. Then on top of that, you look at Dak. He is number 1 in red zone attempts among all NFL quarterbacks, and he is number 11 in red zone completion percentage. He has gone for at least 225 and 2 passing touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games. And against their division rivals, given the defense and how quick and how they fly the ball, and the fact that they just continuously pile up points, I think Dallas got to just blow the doors off of Washington, and I just need him to cover 6.5. So to recap on the SGP, Cowboys -6.5. Dak, 2 or more passing touchdowns. Dak, 225 plus pass yards, +116 at DraftKings. Lundy, pay to follow.
Dallas might win this by 20.
I don't disagree.
I'm telling you, folks, I think the first 2 games of the day are going to be absolute snooze fests. I think, unfortunately, you are going to be forced to talk to members of your family.
No, you don't. Just drink more tequila and pass out.
I am just convinced that these first 2 games of the day are going to suck. Now, I hope I'm wrong, because I'd like to be entertained for at least, the first 7 hours of the day. But hey, Brad, we get Dolly Parton, as halftime. So I'll take that. I'm not going to complain. We get one of the queens who's going to be out there, and she's like itty bitty. Did you see the video? Did you see the video of her and Peyton Manning at the Vols game?
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's walking,
pick her up and put it in the pocket.
No, she's walking on like a platform, like a stage platform.
Oh, really?
And Peyton is still taller than she is. It was hilarious. Anyway, I digress. I'm all about this one. I think he hits each one of these numbers with absolute ease. Take it at the +116. I just told you on the other one to back the number down and not get greedy. But like I said, Dallas may absolutely blow Washington's doors off tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, just tell Edna that you're sweating out a parlay bet with the Cowboys and Commanders.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno here on the Fade 5.
Shocking. Shocking
well,
here.
We just continue as well because it continuously pays. It is none other than Mandatory Montgomery, front and center on the national stage, taking on the Green Bay Packers. So on this SGP, I think I featured this bet almost, 3 in a row? Fade 5s? It doesn't matter. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown, the Lions to win. You can get that at plus money at ESPN. It makes no sense, whatever. It shouldn't be at plus money anywhere, but it's plus 104 there when I made it. And I would jump aboard that bandwagon as quickly as you can if it is still available. Even if it's like minus 105 at your favorite book, I would still play it because I feel very confident that this one is going to score some cold, hard cash. You look at Mandatory Montgomery, 7 games this season, 30 red zone touches, 30. 7 to come at the goal line. He scored a touchdown at 6 of 7 games. He's top 30 in yak per attempt. Yeah, I know Jahmyr Gibbs is taking on maybe a wider role overall, getting some occasional goal line work as well, and an end zone splash or two. I mean, both backs could have stellar games in this matchup because Green Bay is number 22 in rush EPA defense. They've given up 8 total touchdowns at running back position. And recall, back in week 4, Mandatory Montgomery went ballistic. He smacked that ass in that matchup with Green Bay. 32 carries, 121 yards, and not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. All I'm asking is 1. this time around, and I think the Lions will score that win and get to 9-2, on pace to win their first division title since the Barry Sanders era in the early 90s. So to recap, my number one play on Turkey Day, SGP, Dave Montgomery, anytime touchdown, and Detroit to win on the money line, plus 104 at ESPN Bet. Lundy, better follow.
How many fingers am I holding up?
A dozen.
Well, I'm holding up 2. For those of you not watching on YouTube, I'm holding up 2. The reason I say that is because this is a 2-unit bet for me. Hammer this.
Oh, wow.
Hammer this. I'm making fun.
Can you give me some Peter Gabriel? Yeah! Love it.
I would hammer this bet, folks. The fact that you can get it at plus money, to me, this is how you build your bankroll at the beginning of the day so that you can lose it all by the time we're watching the game in Seattle. I would smash this bet. I really would. Because again, I think the game's going to be boring. I think Detroit's going to run away with this. And the way Monty's been playing, you got to take him for a touchdown. So yeah, I would do that. This is a sledgehammer for me. I would definitely hit this bet hard.
Oh, man, I love it. When you could draw Peter Gabriel, and Lundy did it perfectly. That's all the reason you really need. Let's grab another plateful, some additional side dish action. It's bonus time. Lundy, it could be in college basketball. It could be the NBA. It could be the NFL, maybe on the ice. If there's a drop of the puck, make some bucks. Give me something else on this Thanksgiving Day that people could build the bankroll and add on to the betting gluttony.
All right, let me roll through as best I can. First, let me get you some action this evening. So again, Brad and I are recording this on Wednesday. You may not be listening to it till late in the day on Wednesday or even Thanksgiving morning, but let me give you some action that I've got for us for this evening. This is a combo of some NBA and some NHL. Starting off in the NBA, Nikola Jokic had to watch the end of the last game from the locker room because he got booted. So did Coach Malone. So apparently they were hanging out in the locker room speaking Serbian to each other. Seriously, Malone has been trying to learn various phrases in Serbian, and so they were talking to each other in the locker room. They weren't really worried about it. The Nuggets went on to win. However, at almost every book, Jokic for a triple-double is sitting right around plus 130, plus 135, except for FanDuel, where it's plus 165 for him to drop a triple-double on the road against Orlando this evening. His career averages against Orlando, 17.7 points, 10.3 boards, and 8.3 assists. So I will take the chance that he gets up into double figures on the assists based on his career averages against the Magic, and especially at plus 165, I'm pulling an extra 30 cents in that one by going over to FanDuel. A couple more for you here in the NBA. A two-legger that I like on the alt line. I really like the Clippers tonight. I also really like the Thunder, but I'm bringing both of them down on an alt line to minus 3.5. So it's the Clippers over the Spurs and the Thunder over the Bulls. Each one minus 3.5 goes to a plus 106 at DraftKings. So I definitely like that one. I already gave you Scotty Barnes. I'm getting choked up. I can't help myself. Talk amongst yourself. So there's some hardwood action for you this evening. Now let me go to the ice, shall we? I can't quite figure this one out, but take Tyler Seguin of the Dallas Stars for a point tonight at standard juice at minus 110. Why can I not understand that? Well, I can kind of understand it. I'll explain why in a second. He is on a 4-game point streak where he has 8. He's got 4 goals and 4 assists in his last 4 games. And this is a big-time matchup at home for Big D. They are taking on Vegas. There are 3 fantastic games in the National Hockey League tonight. This is one of them. The reason I think it's at standard juice is because this game is expected to be low scoring. But if there's going to be scoring, look at what Dallas has done over the last 4 games. And Seguin has had his hand in all of them. So I'm going to play that one at a minus 110. Speaking of points, give me Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins along with Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators. Put both of those guys together, plus 113. These guys are each on their own point streak. Marchand, 6 in a row. Forsberg at 5 in a row, and I've got more that I'll give you on the spreadsheet, but there's a ton of goals in the first 10 that I like tonight. I'm going to try to resist temptation of parlaying them all together, but I'm probably going to give in to the temptation. Who the hell am I kidding? I'm sure that I will. All right, let me get to football for tomorrow. Brad, I want to give you one that is as ridiculously simple as it possibly can. Give me everybody on the chalk tomorrow. Give me Detroit. Okay. Give me Detroit. Give me Green Bay. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. Give me Detroit. Give me Dallas. Give me San Francisco. Now, in full disclosure, I got that earlier this week at plus 103. It is now down to like minus 120 if you try to build this. So, you know what I did for those of you that are a part of the Fade 5 family? I went ahead and added Ole Miss. And by doing that, nice. If you do straight football chalk on Thanksgiving Day, plus 136.
Wow.
At DraftKings. So, like I said, I did just the NFL teams earlier this week, and I got it at plus odds. Now it's at minus. So in the Egg Bowl, I'm taking Ole Miss for all the reasons that Brad already told you off the top. Plus 136 at DraftKings. 3 real quick same-game parlays for you, and I knew we were going to go long today just because it's a Thanksgiving edition. Give me Montgomery for a touchdown and Jahmyr Gibbs for a touchdown.
Love it.
Plus 190 at DraftKings on that one. Same-game parlay for you in the Commanders and the Cowboys. I told you some of these guys were going to bounce back in. Excuse me. Give me Dallas minus 3.5. Bring that line way down. Give me CeeDee Lamb for 60 or more. Give me Brandon Cooks for 25 or more. Give me Dak Prescott for 225 or more. Put all those together, a nice, cool plus 110. And then a same-game parlay for you for the nightcap. Why? Because we got to do something for every game. Up in the Pacific Northwest, CMC for 75 or more rush plus receiving. That's it. 75 or more. He may do all of that on the ground, folks. 75 or more rush plus receiving, and then 40 or more for each of these guys. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf. Each one of those guys for 40 or more, plus 122 over at DraftKings. So a same-game parlay for you in all 3. Moneyline parlay with all 4 games if you count the Egg Bowl in the evening. Some more action on the ice will get posted up on the spreadsheet. Holy crap, there's a lot that I really like to bet on, which means I'm screwed because yesterday's college basketball action, somebody took the broomstick, shoved it up my ass, and broke it off. That's what happened yesterday in college basketball. I'm going to go chasing tonight. You know I will because I got to watch that damn – I got to watch the damn KU game. Man, Brad, she was cussing up a storm last night.
And she's going to continue to cuss up a storm. A little early bonus time action for me. I like the Volunteers on the money line. I grabbed it.
I got to talk. I got to talk quietly though because she's upstairs. I'm doing the pod from the basement. I don't want her to hear that I agree with you. But shit, yeah, I agree with you. Take the balls.
Yeah, stay married, Lundy. Let's go to my Team Huevos parlay play of the NFL Thursday action on this 3-legger. It's all touchdown scores. 1, mandatory Montgomery. Of course it is. I'm not going to give you the reasons why. Numero 2, I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb to also score a touchdown, which he has done actually fairly consistently this year. A guy who has done this actually in 3 of his last 4 games. Number 9. In red zone targets among all NFL wide receivers. Washington's allowed 15 wide receiver touchdowns. They're going to get a lot of Ben St. Juste in coverage as well. Go to a 104.8 passer rating and 3 scores in assignments. And then leg numero 3, Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown. He does it in nearly every week. He's done it 9 of 10 games this season. He is number 1 among all rushers in red zone touches with 48. Seattle just number 21 in rush EPAD, though they've only given up 7 total touchdowns to position. So to recap on this 3-legger, Dan Montgomery anytime touchdown, CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown, Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. All of those happen with the profit boost kicked in. If you log in, there is a Bleacher Report special at DraftKings right now, plus 412. Woohoo! Let's party on a holiday. It's Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And hopefully you'll get a nice little heaping plateful of winnings if that one cashes. You like that one, Lundy?
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot. You're always taking a little bit of a chance with CeeDee Lamb just because you never know exactly where Dak's going to look when he gets down there from a passing standpoint. But that's also the reason why it has the payday that it does with the boost.
Yep, that's exactly right. And again, he scored a touchdown in 3 of his last 4 games. All right.
No, he's looking solid. What else you got?
All right, what else do I have? Indeed, I've got a lot of action. Let's go to the NFL. A little two-legger I built at ESPN. Give me Sam Howell, 38 or more pass attempts. And I'm going to parlay that with CeeDee Lamb, 6 or more receptions. You put those two together, plus 157. I believe Howell has done this in like 5 straight games. He's leading the NFL in passing yards because he's always behind and always having to chuck it early and often. They're going to get blitzkrieged in this game, which means that work his arm is going to be overworked. I think it's going to be at least 40 or more pass attempts. All I need is 38, and I cash that leg. And then CeeDee Lamb, 6 or more receptions. He may get this in the first half. Again, Ben St. Juste has given up a 104.8 passer rating and well north of a 60% catch rate to his assignments. And Dak is always locked and zeroed in on CeeDee Lamb because he just gets separation all the time. So plus 157 on that easy breezy two-legger. Elsewhere, let's go with Zach Charbonnet. Now, there is no line available on this yet. Kenneth Walker III doesn't look like he's going to play. So presumed inactive. I think Charbonnet over on receptions. I'm guessing it's going to open in 3.5 against San Francisco, and I would take the over on that. If it's 2.5, slam the over. If it's too juicy, parlay it in SGP with something maybe on receiving yards, which I also like on the over 18.5 for Zach Charbonnet. But he is going to be a volume king in this game, whether as a rusher or a receiver. San Francisco's allowed 5.4 receptions per game, 34.5 receiving yards per game to running backs this year. They give it up 3 or more receptions 8 times and 4 or more receptions to RBs 4 times. And Charbonnet, the last couple of games, 27 routes, 29 routes. He's catching over 82% of his intended looks from Geno Smith, and it looks like Geno's going to start. Last couple of games, 11 targets, 10 receptions for 131 yards through the air. 6 catches and 4 catches he had. No, that's not 131 yards through the air. That's in total. But it doesn't matter. He's going to be busy as a receiver. So Charbonnet, over whatever it is, the line opens out on receptions, I'll take it. And I also like the over on receiving yards at 18.5. Elsewhere, let's get some college basketball, shall we? On Thanksgiving Day, I don't know what the line is because we're doing this on Wednesday, but whatever the chalk is, I'm taking Arizona against Michigan State. The Sparty Party, they've run out of beer. It's typical Michigan State early in the season. They're trying to figure things out. They play a very challenging schedule. It'll benefit them later in the year when they build a chemistry and they start to galvanize and they have that trust riding on high. But right now, they're just kind of going through the motions a little bit. This is a team that is north of 150 in EFG offense, outstanding defensive team. But Arizona, man, they fly up and down the court. They're going to speed Michigan State up. It's going to make them uncomfortable, much like James Madison did, in which a game they lost at Breslin to start the season. Arizona, according to KenPom.com, number 7 in offensive efficiency, number 7 in the nation in defensive efficiency. They don't get beat anywhere. They have depth. They got hard front court action. They got an outstanding backcourt. I'm guessing the line's going to be 5.5 against Michigan State. I think Arizona's going to cover. They may win by 10 or more. So whatever the line is there, I'll take it. And I will also take whatever the Iowa team total is and just over. They just score points like crazy. It doesn't matter. I don't even remember who they're playing. It makes no difference in my mind whatsoever. I think they're going to score at least 90. It's probably going to be the high 80s on that team total, wherever it is. You want more college basketball action on this hump day? Of course you do. Lundy, let's go to Maui. Marquette, okay. Man. Marquette, +4? Are you kidding me? At DraftKings at -110? That's what I grabbed it at? Yes! Take my money! I got a +600 ticket for them to win the Maui Invitational. So let's double down because they're going to do what they did to Kansas to Purdue. And that is, look, Kansas got a big man in the middle and Hunter Dickinson. How did they beat him? Well, they spread them out and they attack it downhill. And when you have the best point guard in college basketball and Tyler Kolek, they really mystify the opposition in terms of defensive assignments, to get open shots. They got a lot of speed. They're a very good defensive team as well. I think Marquette is at a minimum going to cover the +4 against Purdue. Just, a little bit of background. Golden Eagles, number 14 EFG offense, number 69. Nice. EFG defense. Purdue offensively was kind of out of sorts last night. And maybe Zach Edey with the, smaller, quicker guards, they could run circles around him. So I think Marquette's going to win. I really do. But I will take them also at +4. And as I mentioned, too, I like the Tennessee Volunteers on the money line at +105 is what I grabbed at. Some books have it at +100. And I also like the Zags. I will lay the chalk with them at -4.5 against UCLA. Why? The Bruins cannot stink and shoot. Number 112 at EFG offense. They're only hitting 28.6% from distance. Gonzaga can obviously fill up the cup pretty much everywhere, except they've not really been shooting the ball well from outside either, only shooting 28.6%. And I know UCLA's got a little bit better defense, but I think the Zags have more balance across the board, a little bit deeper, very talented team. And they're going to speed up the pace and make UCLA feel uncomfortable. Plus, they just own the Bruins in recent tilts against that school. So I would lay the chalk there with them. And then finally, Indiana State. Larry Bird, if you watch live online today, my sledgehammer play of the day, I took him on the over team total. It's at 80.5 against Pepperdine. I grab it at a -115 juice. I think it's up to like -125. Pay it. And if you get a line a little bit higher, pay that. I would play this up to like 84.5. They may hit 90. They're a team, my God, they can score. They're fast. They're number 92 in tempo. They're number 4 in the nation in EFG offense. They're shooting, Lundy. Get this. This is not a mistake. 67.2% from 2, 40.8% from 3. They don't play any defense, sure, but nor does Pepperdine. Pepperdine is number 181 in the nation in EFG defense. And they're giving up nearly 33% from outside and nearly 50% inside the arc. Indiana State is really going to score. They're going to burn the nets. So give me the over 80.5 team total points in that one against Pepperdine. I'm out of breath. We are out of time here on the Feed 5 podcast. Do us a favor, would you kindly? And drop us a rating and a review if you enjoy this podcast. Also, feed or follow all of our additional action on the X. We're always trying to give it to you. Lundy at Nate Lundy, and my picks at Noisy Huevos. Again, enjoy your families. Enjoy the piles of food. Enjoy the football, the basketball. It's feast week. It's just the most joyous sports betting week of the year. Have fun. Make some money. And as always, until next time, feed or follow. That is up to you.